Welcome to Coffee with Democrats, a sensible platform for progressive conversations. Coffee with Democrats is a grassroots movement dedicated to hearing from Democrats, candidates, legislators, and friends from all political backgrounds who want great conversations. Coffee with Democrats is committed to increase Democrat voter registration and Democrat voter turnout by making voting more exciting and meaningful. And now here's your host of Coffee with Democrats, Kevin Dawson.
And hello and good morning and welcome to Coffee with Democrats morning break. This is going to be a little bit different show moving forward. We excuse me. We finished our show yesterday, Coffee Break with Coffee with Democrats. That was our last show that was dedicated and designed around just doing nothing but interviewing candidates. Well, the election started yesterday. And as most of you saw, the lines were enormous everywhere throughout Oklahoma. There was, last count I had was about 77,000 people voted. At this point, we're just in the praying mode. We're praying that a lot of those people that are identifying as Republicans actually voted for Democrats. Just to be honest with you folks, it's almost like a 2-to-1 margin from what I'm seeing on yesterday's day of voting. So we've got early voting again today. It started at 10 a.m. and it'll go through 6 p.m. tonight. Then tomorrow on Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. tomorrow. And then on Saturday, it's going to be abbreviated 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday. And then, of course, the election day on Tuesday, October 5th, is the actual election day. So today's show is a little bit different than what we've done in the past. It's going to be a little bit longer because I got a couple of things that I want to show you. And first thing I'm going to show you is a video from basically it's highlighting some stuff that we see from Donald Trump. And then I'm going to show a comparison to yesterday's speech from Kamala Harris in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And I've been to Harrisburg. It's a beautiful place. We were there in, I think about 2005, 2006, something like that. We went there and went to Gettysburg, which is just a little ways south of there. But we had a really fun time in Harrisburg at their 4th of July festival. So there's great people up there, and I love Pennsylvania. I love the countryside. But anyway, I digress. Let's watch a little bit of it.
You wouldn't have your job if you weren't beautiful. It's very sad.
It must be a pretty picture you drop into.
And I'd look her right in that fat, ugly face.
She's gotten a little bit large. I don't think you should dress like you weigh 120 pounds.
I don't want to sound too much like a chauvinist, but when I come home and dinner's not ready, I go through the roof.
A person who's flat-chested is very hard to be a 10.
She ate like a pig.
You could see there was blood coming out of her eyes, blood coming out of her wherever.
The boob job is terrible. You know, they look like two light posts coming out of a body.
Is unattractive both inside and out. I fully understand why her former husband left her for a man.
Maybe she should feel that way.
There are a lot of women out there that, demand that the husband act like the wife.
I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. She's really a beautiful baby. She's got Marla's legs. We don't know whether or not she's got this part yet, but time will tell.
What happens if Marla gained this kind of weight? Would you drop her?
I'd say start working out.
I have no respect for her. I don't think she's very good.
I would say she's in the 4 or 5 category.
Right.
I like the way she used to look. I don't like the way she looks now.
There are 2 other women now who claim that there'd been sexual harassment.
They probably do love their names splashed across the front pages. You say, oh, hello, darling, how are you? And you get sued because you've destroyed somebody's life. It's ridiculous.
You have a young woman that was in his room, his hotel room, late in the evening at her own will. You have a young woman who was seen dancing for the beauty contest, dancing with a big smile on her face. Planned Parenthood should absolutely be defunded.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no, as a principle?
There has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah.
Do you think she felt pressure to come back after 3 weeks?
I don't think so. I think she loves her job.
She wouldn't have felt the need to do that because you might have replaced her otherwise.
No. Although it's an interesting premise.
I have been better to women than any of these candidates, frankly.
Where's Michaela? Michaela, where you at?
Hello, Pennsylvania! Good afternoon. All right. Oh, we got the band in the house. Good. Okay, we got some work to do. All right. Okay. Okay. Let's settle down. We got some work to do. But can we give it up, please, for Chris? Thank you so very much. All your leadership. And Michaela, I was looking for you. I don't know where you are, but I'm saying hello to you too, because you are part of the reason I do what I do. Thank you. All right, Harrisburg, are we ready to do this? Are we ready to vote? Are we ready to win? Yes, you are right. Oh, it is good to be back in Pennsylvania and with so many incredible leaders, including your extraordinary Lieutenant Governor Davis, State Representative Kim, and Mayor Williams. And let's send Bob Casey back to the United States Senate. All right. Okay, so this election is underway, and I want to thank everyone for taking the time out of your busy lives to be here this afternoon, for us to all be under one roof together, sharing this moment of commitment to our country and each other. I thank you all for the time that you are taking for us to all be here together. All right, so now is the time to remind our neighbors and our friends to make a plan to vote in person on Election Day, or to return your mail ballot. And Pennsylvania, if you still have a mail ballot, you can take it to a ballot drop box or an election office in your county by 8 p.m. on Election Day. Let's spread the word and ask folks to go to iwillvote.com if they need more information. So I'm visiting with you this afternoon because we need you to vote, Pennsylvania. We need you to vote. Because we have just 6 days left in one of the most consequential elections of our lifetime. And we have work to do. We still have a lot of work to do, but we like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work is joyful work. And make no mistake, we will win. We will win. We will win. And part of the reason we will win is because I do believe when you know what you stand for, you know what to fight for. And we know we have an opportunity in this election to turn the page on a decade of Donald Trump trying to keep us divided and afraid of each other. That is who he is, but Pennsylvania, that is not who we are. And I know plenty of folks are just exhausted with it all and know that it is time to stop pointing fingers and to start locking arms. It is time. It is time for a new generation of leadership in America. And together with you, we will do this, and I am ready to offer that leadership as the next president of the United States of America. Thank you. And let me just say, Pennsylvania, you know my background. I am not afraid of tough fights. For decades, as a prosecutor and the top law enforcement officer of our biggest state, I won fights against the big banks that were ripping off homeowners, against for-profit colleges that scammed veterans and students, against predators who abused women and children, and cartels that trafficked in guns, drugs, and human beings. And if you give me the chance to fight on your behalf as president, there is nothing that will stand in my way of working for you. And look, we know who Donald Trump is, right? So this is someone who is not thinking about how to make your life better. This is someone who is unstable, obsessed with revenge, consumed with grievance, and out for unchecked power. And look, in less than 90 days, either he or I will be in the Oval Office. Because here's the thing, we know if he is elected on day one, Donald Trump would walk into that office with an enemies list. When I am elected, I will walk in with a to-do list. And at the top of my list is bringing down your cost of living. That will be my focus every single day as president. I will give a middle-class tax cut to 100 million Americans. Enact the first ever federal ban on price gouging on groceries. And fight to make sure that hardworking Americans can actually afford a place to live. If you are caring for an elderly parent, my plan will cover the cost of home care under Medicare. So seniors can get the help they need and the care they need to stay in their own homes. It's about dignity. It's about dignity, which is why my plan will also lower the cost of childcare. Cut taxes for small businesses and lower healthcare costs, because I believe healthcare should be a right and not just a privilege of those who can afford it. On the other hand, Donald Trump's answer to financial pressures is for you to face the same deal. Here's the thing. Let me say something. We are 6 days out of an election. We are 6 days away from an election. And ours is about a fight for democracy and your right to be heard. That is what is on the line in this election. That is what is on the line in this election. Look, everybody has a right to be heard, but right now I am speaking. And one of the biggest issues that folks around the country want to talk about and hear is about how we are going to bring down the price of living for working people. And people know that Donald Trump's answer to the financial pressures that you face is the same as the last time, another $1 trillion tax cut for billionaires and big corporations. And this time, he will pay for it with a 20% national sales tax on everything you buy that is imported. Clothes, food, toys, cell phones. And a Trump sales tax would cost the average family nearly $4,000 more a year. These are some of the issues that are on the line in the next 6 days, and that's why we are here saying we will not stand for it. We stand for working people. We stand for middle class growth and strength. We are here together because we know what's on the line. We know that Donald Trump will try, like he has so many times, to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, which would throw millions of Americans off of their health care and take us back to when insurance companies could deny people with pre-existing conditions. You remember what that was? Well, we are not going back. We are not going back. We're not going back. And we are not going back because ours is a fight for the future, and it is a fight for freedom, like the fundamental freedom of a woman to be able to make decisions about her own body and not have her government tell her what to do. And we remember how we got here. Donald Trump, when he was president, hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would do just as they did and overturn the protections of Roe v. Wade. And now in America, 1 in 3 women in America lives in a state with a Trump abortion ban, many with no exceptions even for rape and incest, which is immoral. Immoral. And look, Donald Trump's not done. He would ban abortion nationwide. Yes, even here in Pennsylvania, if he were successful. He would restrict access to birth control, put IVF treatments at risk, and force states to monitor women's pregnancies. Just Google Project 2025, read the plans for yourself. And let us agree, one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree the government shouldn't be telling people what to do. Not the government. Not the government. If she chooses, she will talk with her priest, her pastor, her rabbi, her imam, but not the government or Donald Trump telling people what to do. And I pledge to you, when Congress passes a bill to restore reproductive freedom, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law. Proudly sign it into law. So Pennsylvania, I am asking for your vote. And here is my pledge to you. And here is my pledge to you. As your president, I pledge to seek common ground and common sense solutions to the challenges you face. Let me say, look, I'll repeat it. We are fighting for a democracy. We love our democracy. It can be complicated at times, but it is the best system in the world. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. All right. So look, I will continue with my point. I pledge to you that as President of the United States, I will not be looking to score political points. I will be looking to make progress. And I pledge to listen to experts, to those who will be impacted by the decisions I make, and to the people who disagree with me. And at this particular moment, it should be emphasized that unlike Donald Trump, I don't believe people who disagree with me are the enemy from within. He wants to put them in jail. I'll give them a seat at the table. And I pledge to be a president for all Americans and to always put country above party and self. That's right. So Pennsylvania, look, it all comes down to this. We are all here together, and you have taken so much time out of your life to be here because we love our country. We love our country. And when you love something, you fight for it. And I do believe it is one of the highest forms of patriotism, an expression of our love of our country, to then fight for its ideals, to fight for the ideals of our country, and to fight for the promise of America. That's what this is about. I have always believed in our nation's promise because I have lived it. I grew up a child of the civil rights movement. My parents would take me to marches when I was in a stroller, where people from all walks of life, all kinds of backgrounds, came together to fight for the ideals of our country, the ideals of freedom and opportunity. I've lived the promise of America. I saw how hard my mother worked to give her daughters the same chances our country gave her. Growing up, I was blessed to have family by blood and family by love. Who instilled in me, like all of us, who instilled in me the values that have always defined our nation at its best, like the value of community, of compassion, and faith. I've lived the promise of America. I've spent my life fighting for people who have been hurt and counted out, but who never stopped believing that in our country, anything is possible. I've lived the promise of America, and I see the promise of America in this beautiful assembly of people, of you who understand what is at stake and also what we have yet to do. That's what this is about. This is about our joy and our optimism, about what has yet to be done that we can do together as one community of people who love their country. And I see then the promise of America in, for example, the women who refuse to accept a future without reproductive freedom. I see it in the men who support them. I see it in Republicans who have never voted for a Democrat before, but put the Constitution of the United States before party. I see the promise of America in all the young leaders who I know are here right now voting for the first time. Let me see your hands, right? And I love this generation of leaders because, listen, you are rightly impatient for change. You who are determined to live free from gun violence, to tackle the climate crisis and shape the world you inherit. For these young leaders, let me tell you, none of this is theoretical for them. It's not political for them. For the young leaders, this is their lived experience. And I see you and I see your power, and I am so proud of you. Let's hear it for our first-time voters. I see you. So Pennsylvania, we have 6 days to get this done. No one can sit on the sidelines. Let's spend the next 6 days so when we look back, we will know that we've done everything we could. It's time to knock on doors, time to text and call voters, time to reach out to family and friends and neighbors and classmates and coworkers. And please, in these next 6 days, let us be intentional about building community. In these next 6 days, let us please be intentional about building coalition. And let us remember, we all have so much more in common than what separates us. So remember, your vote is your voice, and your voice is your power. And I will end by asking you, Pennsylvania, are you ready to make your voices heard? Do we believe in freedom? Do we believe in opportunity? Do we believe in the promise of America? And are we ready to fight for it? And when we fight, we win. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. God bless you.
Well, that was a wonderful speech that we just saw from Madam Vice President Kamala Harris. And I love watching her every single time. The way that she handled the hecklers this time was really passionate. You could see it in her voice. You could see it in her face. You could see it with her, conviction. And the way that she responded to them, it was just spot on. I love the way she handled that. I am speaking. And that just meant everything for me. Hey, I'm going to transition now from the national stage. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in Oklahoma. So in Tulsa, Oklahoma County, and in Cleveland County, we've got some tight races, folks. We've got some very tight races, and we're seeing some changes, some real momentum that's coming out of yesterday's votes. Now, again, we don't have any results. I'm not talking about results. I'm just saying that we're seeing a lot of people voting. I think I saw that Oklahoma County had let me look it up here real quick. They had an enormous number of people show up yesterday just in Oklahoma County. Aaron Brewer sent this to me this morning. 31,628 people yesterday came to vote. And it's very tight between the Republicans, Democrats, Independents, and Libertarians. So again, folks, we know that the Republicans have more people that are voting, but we also know that there's a large number of the Republican bloc that's not supporting Republicans this time. They're fighting against Ryan Walters. They're fighting against that establishment. They also don't like Donald Trump. So again, when I read these numbers off to you just on Oklahoma County, don't be alarmed by this, but again, be cautious. Republicans led yesterday in Oklahoma County, 15,121. Next was Democrats, 12,176. Independents, 4,226, and Libertarians, 105. So on those counts there alone, for those races that are local races in those counties, I see some real changes here going on. Just the combined totals between the Democrats and the Independents. And the Independents, they can go either direction, but they tend to lean more toward the center. They don't like extremism. They will vote against extremism, which means in a lot of cases they're voting for Democrats. So if you combine that I know Republicans had 15,000, but when you combine 12,000 with another 4,000, we've got 16,000 people. We're actually ahead of the Republicans in Oklahoma County, folks. That is an amazing number right there. We could be looking at what's going on. And again, I'm just trying to put some tea leaves here out and trying to read what's out there on the tea leaves. These are not concrete results, but I'm telling you, this is something that I'm seeing a real shift from even the midterm election in 2022. I'm seeing a real shift. I mean, we gained a lot of ground in Oklahoma County in 2022. We gained a lot of ground in 2020, but Republicans led the way enormous. I don't think they have their lead this time. And if this maintains all the way through November 5th, we could be seeing some real shifts. And the same is happening up in Tulsa County. The same is happening here where I live in Cleveland County. So there is some real opportunity. And again, I like the way it looks. Again, I'm not trying to be too optimistic about it, but again, I like the way it looks. And I'm going to start off here by showing you one more video, several more videos actually, of local candidates that I'm behind, and I hope you get behind them as well. So I'm going to go to Aaron Brewer's first, and I want you to watch this little short video with me.
My family means everything to me. With 2 kids, it's a lot of driving. You can relate. Soccer practice, dance rehearsal, and a whole lot of cheering from the sideline. The last few years, I've also done a lot of driving to the state capitol, cheering on our legislators, asking them to do what's right for our kids, fund our schools, support our families. That's what I've been asking state leaders to do. But now it's clear. Protecting our children from politicians like Ryan Walters is going to take more than supporting from the sidelines. It's time I got in the game. I'm Erin Brewer, a mom, public school champion, small business owner, and candidate for state senate. Learn more at erinbrewersenate.com.
So I put that one up there because I really believe in Erin Brewer. I really do. She has become a friend and somebody that I trust. And I really support her. I don't live in her district. She is on the Edmond, North Oklahoma City area. But we need that Senate seat, folks. We need that in order to try to get some kind of parity back within our legislature. We need to gain some seats, and she's a great opportunity for us to gain one. There's many others that are out there just the same way, and I'm just going to highlight a few of them today. I don't have time to highlight all of them, but I got one more that actually I've got a couple more that I'm going to show you as well. So this one, if you remember yesterday, you might have met Christopher Weir, but he's got one that I want you to see as well. Bear with me just a second here. I'm getting to it.
I'm a proud citizen of the Cherokee Nation, and I'm a lifelong rural Oklahoman. I've lived in the state my whole life, and I know what's at stake. We must elect a representative who will fight for our basic rights, like access to affordable housing, guaranteeing public funds go to public education, fighting for tribal sovereignty, and just standing up for the rural way of life. I take this very seriously. I look forward to meeting you and your families on the campaign trail here in District 4.
Folks, that's another one that I've really grown to like. Christopher Weir. Met him this week for the very first time, but man, you talk about a rock solid person. Somebody who has his head in the game. He's got the background. his education was in political science. And I think that this is something, as a young person coming in the area around Tahlequah and all of those areas over in eastern Oklahoma, we could really gain some ground over there. And again, we're looking for parity in the state house, and we really could use his help. I'm going to move back central, more central here in Oklahoma, because a really close friend of mine that I really appreciate her is Carrie Keck. She's running for House District 26. So let me get her. She's got a quick little video that she just did a couple of weeks ago, and I really appreciate hers as well. So I'm going to present that one next.
My name is Carrie Keck, and I'm running for State House District 26 to represent the communities of Shawnee, Bethel Acres, Dale, and Johnson. I served in the Army for 23 years, and now I'd really like to serve our community in our state legislature. The military taught me how to handle challenges and solve problems, and that's what I'd like to bring to our State House of Representatives. I've always felt a calling to serve. When I was in high school, I taught a Sunday school class in the evening for kids in our local church. And I also served in a program called Life Guides, which was a peer mentoring group. We talked to kids about the dangers of alcohol and tobacco and drugs, and really just tried to be mentors for students in our high school. And then for a couple of summers, I volunteered at the International Fountains Youth Rodeo, which is Shawnee's signature event. The best part was meeting people from outside of our community and even outside the state. It was a great opportunity for us to showcase the Oklahoma spirit that we are so proud of. So after I graduated high school, I really felt a calling and a duty to serve our country. My father and grandfather had both served in the Army, and so I decided to enlist myself and served for 23 years. I deployed once to Bosnia and twice to Afghanistan to fight for democracy and to fight for freedom. And that's what I will do as your state representative. We must elect a representative who will fight for those freedoms and who will stand up for our schools and our kids. I will fight to ensure that our schools are resourced and supported and safe, and that our teachers can focus on giving our kids a good education. I will fight to ensure that people have the freedom to live their life the way that they choose. I'm Carrie Keck, and I'm asking you to join our mission and put people over politics in House District 26.
What a wonderful video that she produced and put together, and just her narration was just amazing. I appreciate her. And again, folks, she retired as a major out of the Army. She has got she's got accommodations that very few people have, and from the military. So I'm really supporting her. I'm wishing her the best over there in Shawnee County, and for her district. I really hope that she really excels. And I'm going to move back here closer to home here in Norman. We've got a candidate that it's my district candidate. It's somebody that I really appreciate. He is my representative to the House, and I want to see him go back. He's been an outstanding representative. He is the leading Democrat in all categories. He's the leading candidate who is challenging the narrative of Ryan Walters. He challenges them every single day that he can. That's a constant for him. And that's Jacob Rosecrans. Representative Jacob Rosecrans is an outstanding individual. He's an outstanding qualified representative. He's got a challenger this year. I want to see, though, that the Democrats maintain that seat and get Jacob Rosecrans back to the state house so that he can continue his fight against Ryan Walters. So let me show you that one next.
I'm Jacob Rosecrans, running for re-election in House District 46. As a public school teacher, I saw firsthand the struggles our schools were having. We can do better. Teach to the child, not to the test, with qualified teachers who have the knowledge and experience to help our students learn. And we can't rob from our public schools for private school voucher handouts. I'm Jacob Rosecrans. As a former teacher, I'll always fight for our public schools.
Again, that was the last one that I'm going to show today. I'm going to come back tomorrow and try to find some other ones that we can add to it. I don't think tomorrow's show will be quite as long as today's because I don't think I'm going to do quite the, just put it this way, the messages, the speeches are almost the same every single day on the national level. But I may try to find some commentary about what's going on, some news articles and stuff that we want to share. Before we get off here today, I did want to share with you guys the federal judge in the Ryan Walters case has really put the hammer down on Ryan Walters and his legal counsel, and they wanted to ask for a jury trial, and they don't need one. There's no legal precedent for it, and because in this particular case, it's not worthy of a jury trial and with a waste of money. We can do a bench trial instead. It's KFOR's lawsuit against Ryan Walters. They're only asking for $17.91, I believe it is, which is the same year that the First Amendment was ratified for the Constitution. But this whole lawsuit stems from Ryan Walters and his spokesperson denying access by KFOR into the meetings, and has really made a few changes. Back onto the national stage, Newsweek is reporting Donald Trump's chances of winning this election plunge in a major election forecast. And that's always good news. I like reading those, but again, those do not replace voting, folks. That we've got to continue to go out and vote. We got to make a commitment. We got to make a plan. Is there a possibility of rain tomorrow? Is there a possibility of rain on Saturday? So are you going to wait until Friday and Saturday and then just say, all right, I'm done because I don't want to stand out in the rain? We'll go today. Today's a beautiful day. Don't wait for the possibility of an ice storm like we had back in 2020. The day before the election on November 5th. So again, vote early, but also make a plan. Whatever your plan is, it's just like I learned when I was scuba diving. Plan your dive and dive your plan. So make a plan to vote and then vote your plan. So that's my statement for today. Folks, until we get back on Coffee with Democrats, hopefully tomorrow we'll be back on here. And until then, everyone, I ask, please be safe and go vote. This segment of Coffee with Democrats is brought to you by Steve Holcomb, Attorney at Law. With family ties to Oklahoma in the legal field that goes back as far as the early 1900s, Steve Holcomb is a well-known and respected attorney at law in Pawhuska, Oklahoma. You can trust Steve Holcomb, Attorney at Law, with your legal needs. For generations encompassing over 100 years, the Holcomb family name has practiced law and served the cattlemen of Oklahoma. From Marion Holcomb, Steve's great-grandfather, who became a judge among the lands of the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes in southwest Oklahoma in the early 1900s, who then moved to Pawhuska to practice law, to his grandfather, Thad Holcomb Sr., and his father, Lee Holcomb, who both served as presidents of the Osage County Cattlemen's Association. The Holcomb name has been and still is the trusted name for Oklahomans. As an enthusiastic supporter of Coffee with Democrats, who promotes the Oklahoma standard of service, honor, and kindness, Steve Holcomb is the attorney we recommend going to when you have general practice legal needs. Call 918-287-8762. That's 918-287-8762 to schedule a consultation. Initial consultations may be provided free of charge, or go to holcomb.legal for more information.